Get ready for change to elevate your future, your thinking, your life. One relationship, one thought, one decision. You're closer than you think you are. Make a decision and decide where to be inspired. All right. Good morning. It is Coach Randy Bird, and I'm very excited to be here this Friday morning, and we're going to learn today. We're going to learn today. So I'm excited to bring you Ready, Set, Action. Think of the movie Slate, right? Ready, set, action. Let's go. I say that because we're bringing some rock stars to the show. We're bringing Tanya Meme, host of Sell This House for 20 years. We're doing a local training with her. And this webinar is that condensed version to give you an idea of what some of these things that we do are and to bring value to you today. So with no further ado, I'd like to just take just 1 minute. Coach Randy Bird, I'm in beautiful Oregon as we speak. We go between Oregon and Arizona and Puerto Rico and all the good warm spots, right? I look for wine regions and warm spots. I'm solar powered. So that's how that works. But listen, I want to bring value to today, and this short 30-minute webinar is going to do just that. I want to go over some things that are going to be valuable for you in your real estate business. The market has changed significantly. We've been able to say the market's changing for 22 years that I've been in the business, but it's changed in different ways. I think it's been rewritten now. I think the market has been rewritten where it takes a different type of relationship with clients to do transactions. You know, last year there was over 50% of the agents in the US, over 1.4 million total agents. Half of them did 0 transactions to 1 transaction. In Chicago alone, 73% of agents did no transactions in Chicago in 2024. Those are big numbers, big stats. So we've got to change the relationship between the agent and the principal, the servicing sellers, servicing buyers, whatever that may be. So let me bring on my presentation. I'm going to show you some things that should bring value to you today. Story and the reason that we are where we are, right? 22 years in real estate. I was a general contractor for a decade prior to that. And when I looked at real estate, it seemed super easy. Back in 2003, when I joined, it was a different market. You know, we were just coming into the age of Zillow and online, and I really leaned into that online as a general contractor. I was one of the first guys ordering lumber online and having it delivered to the job sites. And the other guys were like, what are you doing? You know, I've always been on the edge of looking how technology can benefit us in our businesses. So when I transitioned to real estate, it became very easy. I had a discipline of door knocking for business and construction. So I just translated that into real estate. I got to the office early before everybody else and took the phones off, do not disturb nighttime. At like 6 a.m, I'd answer calls for a couple hours until the regular agents would come in. I was brand new. I knew nothing, but I knew I had to do something a little bit outside the box. But as we progressed, it's really been an online presence and an online posture that has helped our business. And many agents haven't leaned into that. Matter of fact, you're not even leaning into AI, which is mind-blowing what it could do for your business. I can create presentations. I can create showing templates. I can create so many things in literally minutes that used to take me days with my assistants to do. And now I can put just a concept into Chat GPT and it will create this presentation for you in moments, right? Similar to what we're doing today. But as I went through this and I started coaching about 10 years ago, I started focusing on the key elements and traits of high producers and then people that are struggling in production that never get the momentum going, right? I talk about my momentum like this. Think about a 1975 Lincoln Continental four-door suicide door, like one of those big beast cars, right? They weigh a ton. Think about pushing that down the street. How would you push it? Put it in neutral. How would you push it by yourself? You'd have to turn around and lean into the bumper and really get everything you have to get that thing to just creep forward a little bit, right? And all of a sudden it starts rolling, the tires rolling. You can kind of stand up now and push against it, but it's taking everything you have still. And then it starts rolling a little further and you get to the point to where you can now turn around and push it. Now you're pushing it and you're kind of starting to walk and then you start jogging. Pretty soon you could be running behind that car. Pretty soon you could put one finger on the trunk and keep the momentum of that 6,000 pound vehicle moving because you're in momentum. You're keeping constant pressure on momentum, which is keeping it at a steady point. If you let go of that and the car slows down to a stop, there's no chance you can move it with your finger or even laying into it like this. You got to turn back around. You got to lift that bumper up a little bit. You got to put everything you have into it. That is your real estate business in a nutshell. If you think about how momentum works in your real estate business, there's some principles that are super, super important. I'm going to take you through those, okay? So geofarming, traditional versus next generation, right? Geofarming is basically, it's not farming cows and pigs and chickens. It's circling an area, geographical area, and farming that for new clients and putting them into your database, your SOI, sphere of influence, right? I know I talk fast, it's recorded, go back and listen to it. But here's a strategy. Pick 500 homes minimum. You could pick 2,000, but if it's a paid thing, you got to be able to afford it for the length of time, right? So 500 homes. Look to title to give you a turnover. You could do it with GeoFarm or Title. They'll tell you what the turnover is in those 500 homes. You want at least 6%. You want to be as close to 6% as possible because that's 30 homes a year, 6% of 500, 30 homes a year. Every year will turn over in that farm. If you're in a farm where you only have 6 or 7 turnovers, you're not going to be able to sustain long enough to make an ROI. So 6% turnover, a minimum of twice a month frequency of connection with them. That means that you're going to reach out to them in some way twice a month. It could be once door knocking, free, once hanging a flyer, minimal cost of printing copies of 500, right? It could be a phone call and a door knock. It could be an open house invite and a door knock. It could be hanging a door flyer and then dropping off a free CMA. Whatever it is, it's twice a month frequency for the first 12 months minimum. I'd like to see 18 months. You've got to create frequency and you've got to create top of mind with that client for this to work. But if you do those things, I promise you it will work. We did a massive study when I was back with Tom Ferry, and it was, I think, 700 agents that we looked at this study. This works, folks. Don't dispute it. Just do it. You can't give up on it, though. Too many agents quit, right? 3 Feet from Gold. You've heard that book. Too many agents put all this stuff in a place. They do amazing, postcards and beautiful flyers and all the things, right? That's one of my postcards, full size. You see kind of what they look like. Twice a month, right? In this particular case, we can go once a month with this, and then we'll send a door knock or we'll send some other kind of deploy a phone call or an email into that model and connect with them. But that's kind of what that looks like. I want to continue on here and have you understand. So the future of marketing is what it is. If you look on the right, that is the future of marketing. I can now look into the history of homes. I could look at the MLS. I could look at Deal Sauce. I could look at all these different places to find all the information on the home without leaving my desk. I could literally do everything I can. Matter of fact, I can have AI and automation do most of it for me, and all I have to do is review it. But it's important that you become the digital mayor. What the digital mayor looks like is if you're running for the mayor of your town, you want to get out and have a grassroots campaign. You could do this digitally now with Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all the other social profiles. Really, really valuable. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. So become the digital mayor of this community. Now, I talked about a traditional farm, right? 500 homes, 6% turnover, 18 months, but that's 500 homes. And if you're paying for these postcards right here, that's $2 a piece. So if you do $1 to $2 a piece, right? The jumbos are a little bigger. You do $1 to $2 a piece, that's $1,000 a month, twice a month, 500 homes, right? So that means that's a cost. If you can't afford check equity, go to sweat equity in that farm. But think about this, become the digital mayor of 5,000 homes like that, 10,000 homes like that. 1-to-1 versus 1-to-many. This is 1-to-1. That's me to them. 1-to-many is an ad or a Facebook algorithm that captures geographic areas or a group or something that I bring people into where I'm approaching thousands of people now with one message. A Facebook ad, a Google ad. Some of these are examples, right? So imagine this now. Go to the title company, get a homeowner list for free from the title company of 5,000 or 10,000 homes. You have a virtual assistant, import this all into your CRM. I have a gift for you. My VA in India is $5 an hour. She's now $7 or $8 an hour. I've had her for 8 years. I'll give her to you. All you have to do is DM me and Coach Randy Bird, all the channels, YouTube, Instagram, all the things, Coach Randy Bird. And I will help you with some of this things for my assistant setting this up. So take a virtual assistant, build a Facebook page. Say you're in Edgewood subdivision that has 10,000 homes. You have an Edgewood subdivision owner's Facebook page. You invite them all in purposefully through emails and text and phone calls and showing the value of that community Facebook page. Everything from neighborhood watch to garage sales to estate sales to somebody had a baby, right? A lot of things you could do in that owners group. You control it, by the way. You're the only agent. You don't have to let other agents in. It's your choice, but that's how I operate, right? Make admins to contribute content. You can start picking homeowners association, the head, people that work in certain departments within that community to become contributing content people, right? You could do schools. You could interview principals. There's a million things you could do. Geofence the area on social media. You could actually draw a fence around the geographical area in Facebook. It's getting much more limited. It used to be a quarter mile. Now it's 1 mile and 10 miles and some different things. But you could actually draw a line around that community on Facebook. And every time somebody goes in there, Facebook will notify them of your page because they've entered your geofence. The other piece of this is there's just so many ways that you can run Facebook ads. You upload a custom list of this list that you just created of 10,000 names. Facebook advertises only to those 10,000 people basically in that list, right? So there's just a lot of ways to become the digital mayor nowadays. And then that custom audience is exactly what I'm talking about. So here's an example. North Albany, I'm in Albany, Oregon. This is just a group, random, I picked up. It's only got 130 members, but it's the Pleasant Run Neighborhood Connection, right? And a join group. An admin has to approve you into the group. You could have a couple questions. What's your address? What street do you live on? How long have you lived here? Would you like us to announce you in the community? Whatever your questions are. And then you can make this community available for only your neighborhood people, kind of like how Facebook started. You had to have an EDU or a email from the college that you were going to be in that Facebook group. This is kind of the same thing. And what's cool is you are the owner of this information and the collective power of this group. Really, really can't be understated. So let's look at some ideas. Community highlights, right? What's going on in the community, school boards, interviews with local leaders, school superintendents, the sheriff, the head of the restaurant that's in that geo farm. Maybe you got a restaurant, maybe you got a yoga studio, whatever it is, interview them as part of that farm and build credibility to your list. List sold posts, right? Obviously you could post in your community. This just sold, this just listed, not yours, all those 10,000 homes. Everything that's going on. Hey, Bill's doing a remodel. He's adding 900 square foot on his house over there. This one's for sale. This one's coming soon. This one just sold, whatever it is. Real estate value posts, meaning what's going on in the market, what's going on with the interest rates, all the things, right? Open houses and estate sales. That obviously what it is. School stats and info, putting all the school stats in there so everybody can see it. If there's special situations going on, you could put that in there. And then obviously crime rates. And that could lead to doing neighborhood watches and so on. Imagine that 10,000 people in a neighborhood watch collectively online, similar to the Ring. Matter of fact, you can connect your Ring doorbells to that community. So everything in there is happening on that particular community page, right? Pretty cool stuff. So coffee, mandatory. So the secret formula, here we go. Target market. Who's your target client? Pick one. Don't pick 10. Pick one. Get in a niche. First-time buyers, sellers, FSBOs, expired spheres. Who do you want to market to the most? And traffic. Search versus social media. Where's your traffic going and how to find them? Do you know you can search your competitors on Google and find out exactly where they're advertising and everything they're doing and just set a copy up on that, right? Make an offer, a compelling, irresistible offer. What bait are we going to use to attract them? Selection plus affordability for buyers, or time plus ease, money for sellers? What's your niche? Are you luxury? What's special about you, right? Building your brand around this is what I'm talking about. And then a funnel. ClickFunnels is one of the most popular. I'm a fan of that, very much so. But if you think of everything as a funnel, Russell Brunson did a great job. He took a soda can and put a Mentos in it, and it just shot up to the ceiling and things went everywhere. And he had another little bottle trying to catch all the things that were coming from it, right? You're only going to catch a couple drops of that scenario as it's dripping from the ceiling. And then the next one, he got a funnel that was about the size of a trash can lid and went down to just a little tiny hole in the bottom. And he held that up and he sprayed the stuff at the ceiling, and it caught 70 or 80% of all that stuff because it had a bigger area to grab from, right? And then as it grabbed that, it's funneling it down through and it all comes out the bottom. You're gaining so much more information and responses from that kind of a funnel. We want to create a funnel for everybody that comes into a funnel and then addresses what needs they have and help them move through that challenge, right? And then the tech and digital mindset, this is up to you. You either lean into it or you don't. And I'm going to be bold for a minute. I think that if you're not adopting AI at a high level right now and tech and digital mindset related in your real estate business, you're going to be out of business in a couple of years. You're going to be working for one of the agents that did. Teams are more prevalent than ever for many, many reasons. Matter of fact, it was a big number, like 60-something% of every transaction was done through a team. And I think that number was higher than that, meaning that teams and the power of teams are gaining momentum. They're going to leave you, the individual agents, behind more and more and more as we progress. This can't be understated. You have to lean into this. You have to be able to service your clients. You have to be able to find clients through the digital and tech, systems where you're going to be working or maybe not working for one of them. Okay. Top AI tools, there's hundreds, right? But here's some that I'm going to throw out to you. I'm going to share a couple that you really can't do without. Here's a couple that are not on the list. Opus Pro, OPUS.PRO. Opus Pro does videos that is amazing. I might show you one of those in just a second. But I'll tell you what, it will change. It will blow your mind what you can do with videos now, because video is where it's at. People want to connect with you. They want authenticity, organic content, right? The days of super high value produced things are still valuable, but really people want to see the real thing. They want to see you be real. They want to see you mess up. They want to see you be human, right? So there's many out there, but ChatGPT is the number one. Opus Pro, Opus.pro is another. There's Fixer for your email. It will literally look at hundreds of emails, tell you which ones are most likely need to be responded to it. You click on it and it gives you two responses, a yes and a no. Like if somebody said, hey, can we get together next week for lunch? One response is, hey, I'd love to. Let me check my schedule, or that sounds great. And the next one says, unfortunately, due to caseload and workload, I can't meet this week, but let's visit in the future. You just click one or two and it automatically gives you that. And it will summarize the tone of a long email into a summary, so you can spend minutes on your email instead of hours. It's game changing, right? So here's Opus Pro. We talked about this. Opus Pro is a AI-powered clip generator. It does everything from make shorts, takes long video and analyzes it, puts clips in there from that. You can take one video, put in there, and break it down into 10 or 15 little videos that are good for Instagram, TikTok, and all the things. And it will also put the language on it, the whole thing. It's just amazing, right? It gives you virtual scores of how well it's going to do on the websites. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I got to be honest. Okay. So check it out if you haven't seen it. It's very inexpensive. Okay. So YouTube strategies. One of the things that I learned, this is so stupid and simple and easy, but you just don't know till you know, right? Is YouTube. When you open YouTube on your phone and you just hit the plus button, you could add a video or you could just take a video. And everything you do on your phone will automatically be uploaded into your YouTube app, long and short form. So no more giving this too much thought, right? Everything technology is at your fingertips. You could literally just do a daily thing about what's going on in real estate, or if you're doing this geographical farm idea, just go into the subdivision and say, hey, I'm in the hood today. I'm in the subdivision, and it looks like the street crews are out here flushing all the hydrants this week, or whatever it is, just something to bring value and awareness to you, brand, and then also to what's going on in that community. vidIQ, this is another one amazing. You see the website up there, vidIQ. vidIQ will take your YouTube and re-look at it all. It makes new clips. It makes new headlines. It optimizes it all for the best use. This has been a game changer for our YouTube channel. We're seeing major YouTube growth now because of this one tool, honestly. It's so amazing when you can take a video that's underperforming and click on a couple buttons and it goes, oh, your hook is weak, or you need a new headline, or you need a new thumbnail. You create thumbnail. It makes like 6 thumbnails, all beautifully created AI. You just pick which one you like. You could overlay a picture. You could add in your own language, whatever you want to do, fully editable. And then tags and all the things that are needed for YouTube to view. It's in there, and it's super inexpensive tool. Amazing. So let's go to the next slide. Okay, so ChatGPT for real estate. Really, really important. I'm going to teach you how to use ChatGPT to learn your business. So the first thing you want to do is open ChatGPT and say, I want you to learn my real estate business. Ask me 20 questions to get to know me, right? So think about how simple that is. Ask me 20 questions to get to know me. It's like you're being interviewed. And it's going to go, okay, what's the name of your business? How long you've been in business? And each question will lean into more questions, right? It will say, how many transactions do you do? What's a superpower of yours? What kind of clients are you looking for? Right? It's just amazing. And then in 20 questions, and you might have to ask a couple other and more in-depth questions, it knows you. And now from now on, every time you say, create a flyer for me, it's going to brand it to you. It's going to know your personality. It's going to know what kind of client you're looking for. It thinks of all these things, billion, times a second. It's just unbelievable what it can do. And again, if you don't lean into this, you're going to be passed. Create a year's worth of newsletters in minutes. Once it gets to know you, you could say, ChatGPT, create a year's worth of newsletters delivered every 2 weeks. So that is about 104 newsletters. Create those knowing my business and my style and what my perfect avatar client is. And can you create those for the housing? I would like a mix of humor. I would like a mix of real estate stats for my local area, 97322. You just speak to it like that. When it's done, it will blow your mind what kind of newsletters it will develop for you. Like that. And then after it develops them, you can say, this is nice, but add more pictures or add a video to the third one of every one of those. It will do all that for you. It's mind blowing, right? And then have ChatGPT design a logo for you in seconds, literally. I mean, I said, hey, ChatGPT, knowing my business, design a logo for me. My business is Birdhouse Team, right? Real estate team, Like a Boss Coaching. And all of a sudden it put this boss eagle up there with like a boss, and it had flames in it, and it had it was just sick. It was ridiculous how good it is just by knowing a little bit about your business. Okay. So thank you. I want to thank you for being here. Listen, what this is all about to me is you successfully winning the real estate game. So when I say that, I'm going to put that back up there in a second. When I say that, I offer everything I do for free. I do a free coaching call on Tuesdays at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time, likeaboss.live, likeaboss.live. Every Tuesday, 30 minutes free coaching call. It's not a sell to my coaching program. I don't sell on that. Matter of fact, you have to ask me to even talk to you to do a needs assessment, right? It's not a funnel. It's a contribution. I have my team calls every Wednesday that we invite everybody to. We have all these things that we do. We have a coaching program, a paid coaching program. We have a free coaching community on Facebook. We do all these things because not everybody's in the same place at the same time. And hear me out. I want you to win. 22 years in this beautiful business. I've been out of production for about 7 or 8, 9, 10 years now. I've been coaching exclusively. I sold my production team and was working for Tom Ferry back then, worked for him for 4 years as a coach. And now I've had my own coaching company, Birdhouse Coaching and Like a Boss Coaching. And I have a couple other breakoffs of that. Attract Boss, where we coach team leaders like Keller Williams and EXP and real team leaders, how to recruit and attract agents to their brokerages and independent broker owners. And then obviously we have a big organization with EXP, about 1,100 agents nationally, 30 states, 5 countries. We teach them how to grow communities, right? Social dominance, digital mayor, all the things. So if you're tracking with any of this stuff, if any of this stuff makes sense to you, why don't you hit me up on my Instagram or my Facebook or my YouTube? It's all Coach Randy Bird. So you just put at Coach Randy Bird sign, and any of them you should be able to find me very easily. And I respond to everything. So reach out, let us know what we can do to help you. Come check in with us. And again, it's Friday. We do these webinars on Friday mornings. And I want you to know that there is solutions out there. You just have to get over yourself. You have to get over yourself of saying that, well, I don't want to get this because I'll just sucked into a coaching program, right? Yeah, my coaching's expensive. It's not for everybody. I get it. But there's so many free resources and tools now. And if there's a diabolical plan involved here, it's this. If I provide so much free value for you for so long and without expectation of anything in return, you might track with me down the road. You might need a new broker. You might be ready for a change in your career. You might be ready to level up. And I'm just sitting there with open arms saying I'm available for that, right? That's what this is about. I know if you help enough people get what they want, you get all that you want. So I'm Coach Randy Bird. Thank you for being here. My cell number is 541-570-5777. That's my direct cell number. I want to be available for everybody. Obviously, we have some communities that you could plug into to help you along with that journey. But I believe together, community is what it's all about. I'm building community in my coaching programs. I'm building community in my organizations and in my partnerships. I'm building community of like-minded individuals that want to build generational wealth. Time and financial freedom is number one, right? I've coached so many clients that want, like, I'm doing 700,000 a year. I want to get to $1 million. I just can't break that ceiling. And then I do a needs analysis interview with them, and I realize that I'm going to break them further. They're going through divorce. Their eating habits are horrible. They're going through fast foods twice a day. They're overweight and fat. They're not exercising. They're just not in, they're not congruent with who they really want to be. So I have to shine a mirror on that sometimes and say, let's rewire the person that is required to step into that role, right? Sometimes it looks like that. Sometimes it's just a tweak of a little tiny system, moves you from where you were to where you want to be, just because you have somebody on the outside looking in from a 30,000 foot elevation. That's me, right? I'm the guide. You're the hero in the story. I just want to help you lean into becoming a hero. So thank you for being here. Bring in some of these topics and into your business. We also do live events here locally in Oregon and Arizona, typically about every 4 to 6 weeks. You can plug into those very easily. And listen, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to seeing you win. All right. Let's get in each other's communities. I appreciate you. Have a great Friday. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Get ready for change to elevate your future, your thinking, your life. One relationship, one thought, one decision. You're closer than you think you are. Make a decision and decide.